What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And for those who may or may not, last month we started a next mission of Dr. Vibe's Allies. And what's Dr. Vibe's Allies? Well, it started way back, like I think in around 2013, where we got Black men from Canada, America, and England together to chop it up and talk about subjects that are important to Black men and those who love them. So we took a break for a few years, but the mission is back, and we've got the lead general finally with us too. He was sporting his chapeau. The hat has come back on. All right, the hat has come back on. So let's introduce each one of the allies. Let's go to the future first. From Nottingham, England, they call him Clive Henri. What is going on, Clive Henri?
Hey, Dr. Vibe. Hey, brothers, and hey, audience. We're all good. It's 2 a.m. here in sunny Nottingham, England, home of Robin Hood. We're all good.
And share a little bit about yourself, Clive, for those who don't know of you.
Well, I am the brother from the UK, and I am the author of the book Racism is Real, Clive Henri. I'm an activist. I've done a lot for changing perceptions of how we should act in a world, of giving tribute to our ancestors and doing what we should do, to fight for a better world and to try to help others and make things work. So that is me.
Excellent. Well, next up, we're now coming over back to North America, we have Jonathan Juice Man Shaw. What is going on, Juice Man?
I'm great. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to, finally see my brothers again. It's been a long minute. It's been a very long minute.
Absolutely. Tell a little bit about yourself, Juice Man, for those who do not know the Juice Man.
Well, I'm actually over at my girlfriend's house right now, so I want to big her up because I'm actually using her bedroom right now to do the show. But what I'm doing, what do I do right now? I am the creative director for 2 radio stations in Toronto, 106.5 in Toronto and 95.7 in Ottawa. And voiceover guy. I do a lot of commercials, a lot of public speaking, a lot of motivational stuff. And for the last 3 years during COVID, I did basically self-help books online. That was my thing,
Wow.
So turn to page 5 in your books now. That was me.
Well, actually, I have another associate of mine that would need your help with a short voiceover. So we can we'll chat offline about it. Absolutely. Let's see if Victor Unlimited has his mic issue corrected. Victor Unlimited, unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
There we go. That's what we're talking about. That's what you're talking about. What's going on, VU?
Man, other than trying to avoid sabotage of my mics, no, man, it's just been life in general. Just glad to be here, to live to fight another day. Nice. Everything is fine here in the Memphis area and beyond.
Very nice. And a little bit about yourself, VU.
I am the 2-time award-winning podcast host and website host of the Victory Unlimited show. And the archives of that show, I think it's about 66 or 67 episodes, can be found at victoryunlimitedshow.com. And of course, that show was and is a beacon that shows men the light about how to be a better man today than they were yesterday. It's a mix of kind of very, very old school. This is your granddaddy's self-help show if he lived in the 40s and listened to the radio, to the adventures of Green Hornet and Cato and things like Flash Gordon. So it's a tongue-in-cheek type of a delivery of a show that's designed to help men and to help the world be a better place.
Excellent. Always good to have you, VU. And it's interesting because the last gym we're going to introduce here, VU said to me, well, he may not come on because, he gave a number to contact him. But when I talked to the general, he said, no problem to get his face on. So the general, Iron Mike Ramey, is in the house. What's going on, General?
Well, smoke if you got them. Or I should say, since we are in the hood, smoke them if you got them.
Okay. How's Iron Mike doing?
Doing fine. I had a bit of a problem last year. Juice Man's Pittsburgh Steelers took my Cleveland Browns out to the woodshed and didn't bring them back. So I'm appealing to his I'm appealing to his humanity. Let my brownies go. I mean, you can't do much from the lead tank except watch the presidents being marched off after a war.
OMG. Juice Man, don't you miss the general?
The general?
I had to take some time off. I had to polish up the turret and celebrate some birthdays. I got a birthday coming up next month, so I'll be almost as old as Juice Man.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, almost as old. I didn't say I was. I just said almost. I ain't gonna say which direction. I'm just gonna say almost.
Okay.
But if I keep drinking my milk and saying my prayers, I look as good as VU and Clive Henri.
There you go. Well, this is great, man. We are working to get Henri Morris on also, but we're going to start the conversation. I'll do some back end work to see if we can get Mr. Morris on. But gentlemen, when we had our first conversation, re-upping conversation last month, one of the subjects that came up a lot is time. And I thought it'd be good to talk about black men and time today because we haven't been together online for a number of years. And we're older, and the time we have left isn't as much as we had when we first started doing this. So how important for you as a black man or black men in general is the time, what they're doing with their time? Who wants to start that off?
Go on, Clive. Take it.
Okay, I want to say, well, I'm now 50 years old, and time flies. I can remember when I was a young lad, as they would say in the UK. And, as you get older, I think you have to have a balance because we're so busy with work that we forget that we've got family members, we've got friends we need to check up on and things like that. And you're meeting new people all the time. Every year you meet new people. New people come, old people go. Recently in the Nottingham area where I'm from, one of our legends has passed away last week, a guy called Tommy, and he was like one of the hip hop heads. What started back in the early 80s. So he's like a very important person in the community, So it's like you've seen the growth of this person from when they were young, when I was a little kid coming up, and see them grow up, and then you're older now, and you just see how quick life just passes by. So I try to make the most of everything I do. So when I'm at work, I appreciate it. And when I'm with my family, I appreciate it. And when I'm with my friends, because you don't get to spend that much quality time with people nowadays. It's all work. It's constantly trying to fit things in. I find like with me, especially being a taxi driver, I do odd hours. So I'm doing work, get in, go to sleep 5 hours. I'm go and see someone I need to see. I'm living a crazy life. It doesn't slow down, but I still try to make time for myself. Say on a Sunday, where I try to have a relaxed day and might put some Netflix documentary on or something and just chill. But yeah, it's hard, man. The government's got us working non-stop. But yeah, we have to make the most of the time that we have got because we are on the back end. We're on the fourth quarter now, so we have to make the most of our time, spend it wisely.
So who wants to come in on that?
I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here, just amazed at how good I look on your show, Dr. Vibe. Man, I tell you, I look almost as good as Steve VU's picture over there, boy. I mean, that's straight up Wakanda. Yeah, I tell you, time is like that song says. You know, that old Steve Miller song, "Time is slipping away, man. Slipping into the future." And the sad thing about it is that we've gotten smarter, and the world has gotten dumber. Wait a minute, is that the man himself, Mr. Knuckle Up? And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I tip my hat to Mr. Knuckle Up and Buck. Brother, it has been a minute.
It's been a while, my brother. How are you?
The station break in the world, man. I'm gonna yield my time to you, man. What do you think about time, brother? Give us some of that wisdom from the West Coast.
Man, listen, it's so apropos that we talking about time and black men today, because my time today has been screwed up from the very beginning. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, wow, like everything's converged right on time when I need to get the brothers, right? Because it seems like that happens with us in time, right? As soon as we plan to get together and share some wisdom and share some thoughts and things, everything in the world would go against that. Because, you know, you get a group of, positive black men together, the world has a tendency of trying to throw some negative karma in there and try to make things run kind of rough. But I ain't having it. So we gonna do what we do, right? So I may have to step away momentarily every now and then because I got some people who's supposed to do some work at my house earlier today who just got here this evening, and I'm a little bit irritated about that, but I'm not going to take it out on the brothers or our viewers. I'm just going to sit here. So if I go dark, I got to go take care of something, but I'll be back in a minute.
Henri Morris, do share a little bit about yourself to our audience, please, and thank you.
Yeah. So everybody, I'm Henri Morris. I'm originally from Philadelphia. Born and bred South Philly all day, every day. I've been living in California now for a little over 22 years now. I'm currently an adjunct instructor at Skyline College teaching cosmetology. I also sit on the Vallejo Police Chiefs Advisory Board to kind of do my part and to help stem the tide and have a better relationship between the police and our community. So that's what I'm up to right about now.
Cool. So
right.
Do you want to talk anything?
I'll be right back.
No problem. That's all right. All right. I can just pull him. There we go. We'll just do that. No problem. All right. So Juice Man, you're one of the people I want to hear chat about this because you're talking a lot about your birthday this year.
Yeah.
And it seems that you're doing you're continuously doing reflection on a lot of your posts on social media. So I want to touch base with you on Black Men in Time.
Okay. Probably the best thing I can talk about is I'll give you a real life scenario when it came to time. A month ago, when you did this show, you called me up. You said, "Hey, we're going to do this show." I was looking forward to it. It was actually, something that I've been, bugging you about for a minute, saying, hey, and everything was lined up, ready to go, had my tripod, everything's ready. Earlier that day, took a nice little trip down to the East End, went to an oyster bar, and outside of the oyster bar, believe it or not, I saw...
Which is 3 minutes from where I live, by the way. Diana's Oysters.
I didn't even know that.
Go on.
I saw Butch Carter outside. And let's talk about time now. So we spoke for a minute. I talked to him for a minute. We talked about basketball. We talked about black men. And we were just having a great time just talking as two black men would. And I said, thank you for the work that he's done as well as his brother. Got back in my car, drove home as nothing. I get a phone call from my girlfriend. She says she's going to the hospital. The hospital called her and said, come by, need to talk to you about your mom. By the time I got home, she called me up. She's crying on the phone. She says, something's up with mom. I rush to the hospital now. I get there. I see the family there. I missed her take her last breath by 5 minutes. 300 seconds. 5 minutes. No matter how much I replay what I did that day, how quickly I got in my car to go to the hospital, there was no way at that time of day I would have made it in time regardless because of the distance. Today, I said goodbye to 2 more people. I went to a funeral and a viewing this morning, and I went to a viewing this afternoon. And I reminisce and I think to myself, how much time do we really have? Because I see my uncles, and I always used to look at my uncles and say, hey, I would love to be 90. I would love to be 80. I'd love to grow old and just talk about music, talk about foolishness with the young kids and say, hey, in my day, we walked this way and went up the, whatever, da, 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 da. But I'm going to be 55 in June.
How old?
55.
Oh, my goodness.
And a lot of other individuals that I was friends with didn't get a chance to see 40, didn't get a chance to see 45, definitely didn't get a chance to see 50, or more or less 55. Will I live another 55 years? Probably not, because that's not how the human body is designed. Human body is designed to live maybe 100 to 110 years in optimum efficiency. So I'm on the back 9 of my life. But the time that I've spent on this planet, I finally started figuring things out maybe like about a year and a half ago, believe it or not. And unfortunately, it's weird. I've heard a lot of people who are over the age of 50 say that they finally started figuring things out. We finally, at the age of 50, can live a drama-free life. We finally can have decided this person over here is my friend, this person over here is not. I'm okay with living the rest of my life like this without having anybody bother me, without having do whatever. But again, it took me 50 years to figure that out. And I wish, as we've all said a million times over again, I wish I know then what I know now. I'll take my seat.
Just before we continue on, it's interesting you say that, Juice Man. I don't know how many people I've heard of the name, but I'm sure I and Mark knows a gentleman named Dr. George Fraser. Juice Man knows of him too, I know for sure. Yeah. And I had an opportunity to have him on the platform about 2 months ago. Wow. And he quoted a very interesting research study from a very reputable research group in America that said the most productive years in your life are from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and 70 to 80. And I said, Dr. Fraser, what do you mean? He says, the first 50 years of your life, you're just learning. You're going through crap, etc. When you hit around 50, then you know how to handle the crap, how to deal with the crap. So, Juice Man, I just wanted to interject there that, yeah, I hear you that you have to go through a lot of crap and they say, finally, I get it. I get it. Bang. So don't feel bad. Just feel thankful that you realize that. Mm-hmm. So it's
I heard a preacher say once, Wayne Anderson out of Honolulu, Hawaii, years ago, said that a lot of people are not ready for success until they hit 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. Because if they would have been successful before 50, it would have killed them. So, Juice, hey, I turned 65 this year. I'm getting ready, Lord willing, turn 66 in a couple of weeks. And one of the things I've discovered, thanks to VU and you allies, is that we still have purpose. See, that the devil's lie is that we don't have any purpose. We're powerless. We're helpless. You know, we can't do anything. You know,
Especially
nobody's
black
gonna
men.
listen to us.
Especially black men, I hear.
Yeah, especially black men. But when you get away from all the hype and get away from the social media and the mainstream mess, and actually go out and talk one-on-one to these young brothers, they're hungry. Or as Les Brown used to say, they're hungry. They're hungry for the wisdom that we have, because we can help them not make as many mistakes, maybe not all of them, but we can help the ones the Lord leads our way, because there are no accidents as far as people that you meet, people that you talk to. I mean, all 6 of us, this is, your folk will say, this is an accident. How can we have an accident that, first of all, we didn't put together? We took a break and we come back even tougher now. You know, we're the untouchables, and Dr. Vibe is our Elliot Ness.
Oh man, I received that.
There you go.
VU, Henri, come
Yes,
on
sir.
in. Chime in on this. This is a good,
It's
good
interesting.
conversation.
I came in, but I had to agree with Dr. Frazier's assessment, because think about it like this, right? The first 50 years of our lives is broken down into quarters of 25.
Yes, sir.
Right? So from the time that we get out of high school till we get out to it like 25, most of us is still trying to find our way. And then you had that moment in time between, say, 25 and 28 where things start to make a little sense. By the time we hit 30, now it's like, okay, all the pieces are starting to form in alignment, right? So it takes us another decade to figure out the formula, and then that 40 to 50 put the formula into practice, right? Because when I turned 50, my god brother asked me a question after my 50th birthday party. He said, well, big bro, what have you learned in your first 50 years? I said, there's no such thing as gray. It's the emotional attachment between the black and the white. Now, if you figure, when we go through our first, our teenage years, our young adult years, there's always a bunch of drama, right? We're going through all these different things because of the emotional attachment we have to whatever the situation is. It could be the girlfriend, your first love. It could be a homie that you don't want to cut loose, or whatever the case may be. But when I had hit 50, I understood that a lot of the drama that I was going through is because it was my inability to say yes or no. So now I'm at a place where it is yes and no. Don't ask me why. Because no is the most defined word in the English language. No means just what it means. No. No, I am not going to do A or Z. No, I'm not going over here. No, I'm no longer dealing with you. It's just simple as that. And once we understand that no, it is just what it is, it makes the yeses much more fulfilling. Because when you say yes to something or someone, you're basically bringing them into your world, sharing your world with them, or they're sharing their world with you, right? So now you're on equal footing with the yes. No is just what it is. It's like, it's cut off. There's no coming back. So now at 60, I'm like, well, understand this. Anybody who's coming into my life now is because people who are already established in my life are bringing people to me. I'm no longer bringing people into my life because my life is where it's at now. I think when we get to that point of being from 50 to 60, you start defining who's going to be in your life for the rest of your life, right? Some relationships that you've had for 40 years probably got cut off because they no longer have any reverence, right? But the new relationships that you developed, say, within the last decade or two, they have relevance, so they keep on going with you as you go. And I'm quite sure when I turn 70, I have another epiphany, about what life is about. But I really truly do believe that Dr. Frazier had a very good point because of the life lessons that you learn. And at this particular point in time, the things, life is secular, right? So those things will come back around to us again. We can better recognize them because we've been through them already, right? So it's interesting that at this point in time is very important to me. That's why the word that I'm running with is autonomy. I want to have complete and total autonomy over my time and what I do with my time and who I share my time with. I don't care what happens in the world, as long as I know we're gonna get together. I'm going to make time to get together with my brothers because it means something to me. And I know when I leave the conversation or just leave the presence of all of you, I'm going to take something back to my tribe that's going to be a pearl that they can develop and they can grow from, right? If I don't want to mess with you, I don't owe you no explanation. My no is no. I don't want to mess with you because I don't want to. Simple as that. And this is where I feel I understand the nature of time. We can't control things like that happens to me today. I can't control those things. But what I can control is how much of my time I invest in it. Because I can't get the time back. Time is undefeated. Time ain't lost a fight yet. They ain't lost a battle yet, right? Time is infinity and it ain't lost. When your time is done, your time is done, and time is just sitting waiting to you. Well, I've been waiting for you for the last 100 years. So come on, take your seat with me, and we're gonna let everybody else come around. So I just believe right now, as Black men, at a certain particular side of time now, it's important for our not only for us, but for the legacy that we want to leave behind, that we infuse ourselves in things that's going to make that time valuable and worthwhile.
Well said. Well said. Just want to put in some comments here. Aldafina, one of the family that joins a lot online, says greetings, everyone. So greetings, Aldafina. Greetings.
Greetings.
Yeah.
Greetings.
VU, you want to add something?
Oh yeah, look, I was over here. I had my mic off. I was busy laughing when Henri was giving us all of his different versions of using no in a sentence.
You can tell he's the professor.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget what a lady told me one day. She said, VU, she said, no is a complete sentence. So it's like all of the explanation, like you just said, Henri, you owe them no explanation beyond no. And when I think about time, you ever see those movies or ever watch a soap opera about the sands through the hourglass where they'll turn the glass over?
It's the days of our lives.
There you
Days
go.
of our lives.
There you go. And when they do that, you ever notice how it seems like when the sand is just about to run out, it seems like it's going faster?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really not going faster. And that's what brings me to my interpretation of time for me these days. I am hypersensitive to it. I am very much aware of it. I can close my eyes and feel time because I'm so sensitive to it. And what comes to mind is all of the things that I still have yet to do, all the things that I want to do. I forget who said this quote, but it did not originate with me, but they said, a dream, they said a dream, I said a goal is a dream with a time limit.
Okay.
And what I like about that is that we can sit up and dream forever. We don't feel any pressure. We don't feel any kind of incentive to, quote unquote, do our part to make it happen. But because of the pressure of time, or I should say the awareness of time, it forces me to put time limits and set dates and come up with time frames to accomplish this phase, that phase, and the phase thereafter. So I am very hypersensitive to time. I'm just trying to continue to use time as an ally rather than an enemy. They always say that everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. I don't think that's true, because it's a very different 24 hours that a soldier in the middle of a war has.
That's
than
right.
I do sitting in corporate America in the office.
Mm.
So that's just some commentary that I wanted to make regarding
Okay.
time, Doc, and the guys.
No problem. I'm actually I was able to dig out the clip where Dr. Fraser said this. So with the magic of technology, I'm gonna bring it up here, and we can listen to Dr. Fraser, a very wise gentleman, lay it down in his way. So let me just bring it up here. Okay, let's do this. Come on, George. Come there we go. All right, so this is Dr. George Fraser, folks, basically talking about time. Here we go.
The number 3 most productive period of your life is between 50 and 60. That's number 3.
Okay.
The number 2 most productive period of your life is between 70 and 80.
What?
And the number 1 most productive period of your life, this is science, this is not hype. The number 1 most productive period of your life is between 60 and 70. Now, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
It means that between 0 and 49, you're just learning.
Wow.
You ain't done yet.
There you go.
Right, spoken. There you go. So, just wanted to play that clip. We got everyone back here, so there we go.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep.
Does anyone have any that there you go. So what does anyone have any additional comments based on what was said right there?
Well, that reminds me of a story that I've heard several times about this type of Chinese bamboo seed that you water it and fertilize it, and it does not grow to full height. It doesn't even sprout in year 1, year 2, year 3, or year 4. But in year 5, it reaches its full height of 90 feet within a span of 90 days. So the big question is, were the first 4 years a waste of time, or was the last year the best time? You have to have all 5 years. So like I said, I love what Dr. Fraser said. And if you look through history, you look at people that have achieved, and most of them have gray hair or no hair. So hey, I'm just hitting my stride, you know. I'm just, like they say, I'm just hitting my stride. I'm enjoying myself. And there's a great little comic strip called Pluggers, and it's a 1-panel job that comes out every day on Go Comics. And give you an example of what they were saying today. A plugger has a calendar on their iPhone, which is a picture of the calendar on the wall. That's what a plugger is. But like I said, it's great to get back together with the warriors that are and like VU said, no is a complete sentence. And I want to add this to the pot. Wisdom with gray hair does not have to be explained. It just has to be applied.
Ooh. Okay.
Because there's an
exactly. I agree, Henri.
I've been taking Henri lessons, okay? but there's an African proverb that says, "Give advice. If folk don't take it, let them learn through adversity." And that makes more and more sense to me the older I get, because it's like, how am I going to explain something to you if you don't want what I've got to offer? Okay, I'll move on down the block, just like Juice Man. But hey, it's just great to get back together with the real Warriors. And I guess that the best thing about us getting together is that the time that we have together is limitless. But there's one brother missing from the table, and I was just thinking about him at the beginning of the show, Brother Style Gent, who has gone on.
Yeah.
But like I said, the allies, when more and more people discover what this is about, this is a movement. And once more and more people discover what we're doing, it's just going to grow and expand.
Yes, homage to Style Gen. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good brother.
Yeah. Let me, and for people who don't know, Style Gent was part of the original Allies, and he has transitioned. So we let it be. Question for you, gentlemen. What, through your lenses, are some things Black men should be doing with their time, but they're not doing with their time?
Hey, this is VU. Let me dive into this one. Once we become men of a certain age, right, we tend to overly focus on the quote unquote glory days. I remember when I hit that game winning shot, dude, that was 20 years ago. that kind of stuff, I would just like to say this. I've always known since I was an adult, and I know it more and more with each passing year, and that is nostalgia sometimes is the enemy of true history. Because when we look at things through those rosy lenses of the past, they're always a lot better now than even they were then. Because what we tend to do is focus on only those good things. That's why you see a lot of people in the mainstream media talking about, taking their country back and talking about, the good old days. Good old days for who? Good old days for who? In what aspect?
Right.
So I think that one thing that men should focus on, women should focus on, especially Black men, and that is your best days can still be ahead of you. So let's focus on what we're going to do more than what we've done only.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, V. I think one of the things that as Black men on this side of time should put more time into doing is mentoring the younger Black men on how to get to this stage, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of what we've been through, they're going to go through. So it's better to teach them now how to handle the adversity. Because I believe, and this is, you brothers can agree or may not agree, I believe that a lot of the young brothers today are hypersensitive. They hyper emotional. They don't, like, we had to just go through the grind. We didn't have the time to, be all emotional and sensitive about certain things that are said to us or certain things that we had to go through. We just went through them, and then we became stronger and hopefully became a little wiser. So I just think that taking the time to reach one to teach one and giving them that wisdom that these gray hairs that we have now sprouted out of our face, and for those who else have hair, our hair, to teach them how to walk in a certain type of grace and strength. I had a young man approach me at a Botillion, and he stopped me. He said, "Excuse me, sir, I've been watching you all night. I think you were the best dressed man in this event. How did you come up with your outfit?" So I took the time to talk to the young man, but also took the time to ask him what was what was his career path, what was going on in his life. Found out he was about ready to graduate college, and he was looking for a direction. So I've always loved ascots. So I happened to have an ascot on. He didn't know what an ascot was. So that was, to me, an introductory, but it was also a challenge. So we exchanged information. I told him if he reached out to me, I would gift him an ascot. But you had to do the work. You had to reach out to say, hey, yeah, not only do I want to ask, but I want to get the chance to sit down and talk to you and pick your brain about life. The young man did. I set up a meeting. We sat down, had coffee. Figured out this young man had a idea of how to keep his life on track. Even though it was very elementary, but it helped him. So we start talking about what did he want to do with his life. Let's not talk about what you aspire to do. Let's talk about what you want to do. Let's talk to it in the affirmative, right? And we start talking about laying out some plans. So now I have a young man that I'm, kind of keeping my hand on and keep my eye on to make sure that he accomplishes what he set down to do. And I think that's one of the things that we on this side of time as Black men can do. To make the next generation of young Black men more secure in who they are as Black men. We're all going to have different journeys to travel. But if you are secure in who you are as a Black man, it doesn't matter what your journey is going to bring to you because you're going to be able to handle it. And that has a lot to do with the support that you have behind you and in front of you.
Can I go next?
Go ahead, Juice.
Okay, to piggyback on what Henri said, I actually got to say shouts out to Henri for one thing. You made me take a risk back in 2019 that you're probably not even aware of. You happen to like an online suit manufacturer, and they had suits for $49, and I bought one of those suits and wore it to a $300 plate gala, and I can honestly tell you that for the whole night, even the organizers were like, "Yo, that's a bad suit. That's a wicked suit. I love that suit." And $49 was the great. It was $49, and a suit normally costs me $900. So thank you, Henri, for that link. Like, all you did was like it, and I was like, I'm gonna take a risk, and I got that suit. But getting back to what Henri was saying, to piggyback on it, I've always believed in a philosophy that I learned also from my favorite football team, and that is next man up. Who replaces you? Who are you training to be the next you or to follow in your footsteps? And one of the things that I've noticed with the generation that was ahead of us is there's a major disconnect in what they know and what we know, because they didn't want to give up their positions, because it was like the first time for them in their world that they had certain positions. They love their titles. Like, Black people love titles. Like, sometimes I'm listening to people's answering machine and it's like 20 minutes of them telling you that, hey, I'm the director of this and that and head cook and bottle washer and all these other things. No, forget the titles. We need to have people who are next to us that learn how to do the job that we know how to do, the nuances of that job. Also, there's people who are, yes, the generation ahead of us. And one of the things that I did, and I'm glad I did it, was I asked all the questions I needed to ask of the generation ahead of me. How do you do this? How do you do that? Why do you turn the microphone this way? Why do you do this? Why do you do hair this way? Why did you have to do it this way? And ask all these different questions because I need that knowledge, because I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I want to learn from everybody else because I can be a sponge. That way, when my son or somebody else asks me a question, I can answer it. I can show them that wisdom. Because one of the things that I found, especially with the generation after me, is the kids are, and I'm going to say it the way they do in wrestling, SAWFT, soft. They're incredibly soft, and we are responsible for that. But we also are responsible for giving them the knowledge so that they can take what we've done and make it better. We all stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. We've heard it a million times over again. But are we really training the next generation to take over for us? Because again, if we're going to talk about time, time's undefeated. You know what I mean? Father Time has always been undefeated. So it may come for us tomorrow, next week, next month. Who is that person who is going to take over for us? Who are Dr. Vibe's next set of allies? That's it.
That's a good point. Clive, you haven't chatted for a bit. Go for it.
Hey, Clive, let me pause you just briefly. I just want to say this.
Okay.
Henri and
Yes, sir.
Juice Man, I will expect the link to that suit website in my inbox
Yes,
by the time
yes,
we close
yes,
the show.
yes.
Thank you. Carry on, brother Clive.
Yes, Henri, my tank does get Wi-Fi. So shoot and chill it, brother.
Clive,
Okay.
Absolutely, got it.
Back to business. Okay. There's two things I would say that people should be doing. Okay. As we all know, in slavery, they had two things that black people were not allowed to do. And that was educating themselves and also unifying people. So these are the two things I really stress to people whenever I speak to, elders and the younger generation. You need to know where we're coming from. So your ancestors, your history, you won't get surprised. If you study your history, no one can't tell you a lie. You'll see through it straight away. And it's like, I think the reason why I've been able to be successful and be able to navigate this life is because I know a lot, even though I don't see myself as the smartest guy, but I'm a sponge to everything I read and everything I do. And I've always had jobs where I've been problem solving. So I see where things can be fixed and I see what happens when certain things are done. So I think people need to use their time wisely. I see a lot of people, like, for example, social media. We're all on social media, but some people live on social media and it's not like they are making money from social media. They are just wasting time on social media, and it's very frustrating for me when, I work all the time and I might do like an hour on social media here and there, and you'll get people arguing with you about points what are irrelevant. They don't matter. They're not going to get any benefit from arguing with me on certain things, and I don't argue with them. I just leave them to it because I don't have the time to waste. And there's a lot of people what reach out to you, and you want to help the people what need the help. But like education, like for example, Black Wall Street, a lot of people, they know about it, but a lot of people don't. But there was a time when they had Black Wall Street in America, and people had a city what was thriving, and that's a unified community. And like, we're in the age of information, and it's frustrating for me because we should be thriving. We should take all that information that's gone before us and build on it, but we don't. We seem to be going around and around in circles. And when you get to like 50, you're thinking, why are these people not seeing even the basics? The basics. It's like all people are interested in is expensive clothes, expensive cars, things that don't matter in the long run. You're not taking it with you. And like, my point is, I'd say since the pandemic, I've been to a lot of funerals, and at the end of the day, we come with nothing and you leave with nothing, and it's crazy that the cycle just keeps repeating. It's like being stuck on a roundabout. It's like Groundhog Day. It's just like you see people and you like what you want to say to black people. You need to be doing this, and sometimes I give advice, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it don't, and they waste time, you know. And then it seems like when I write a book or something and I release something or do something, people think it's amazing, but it's not amazing because everyone can do these things if you focus on your job, what you're supposed to do. You know, it's like people are just doing, like, they don't look after their families, they don't look after their work business, they're not reading enough. You know, black people, like I said, you was not allowed to read in slavery, so that should be a priority. That means that's kryptonite to the system. You know, education is the key. Unity is key. You know, we get like the black billionaires, for example, the Jay-Z's and the P. Diddy's. What are they going to do? They're billionaires. What are they going to do when they die? You know, everything's going to start to fall apart if they haven't got a village. What is going to move that forward? Do you understand? It's like back in the ancient times, in the Egyptian times, in the West African time, they all had a village raising everyone, and they all had a system. They didn't have the system what we have in the Western world of prisons and so forth and so forth. Everyone knew what they should be doing, you know, and that's what I think we've lost as black people. We are just following instead of leading. We should be leading and watching what we should be doing, and the people who are up there should be guiding the other people. It's like they want to just pull the ladder up and go, no, I'm up here, they'll leave you lot to it. And that's not how you win. That's not how you improve the lives, because the way I look at it, it's like this, and it's kind of like karma. When you don't do something and you leave it, eventually, for example, if you think, okay, I'm successful, but I'll leave these people now and I'm growing big and fat, when those people are starving, they want something and they would need to get it. Where they're going to come? They're going to come to the person who's big and fat and kill you for it. So you don't win. All these people become really wealthy and they don't help others, they're not winning in the long run. You know, you cannot, like time, you cannot beat time. Eventually, I've seen a lot of people grow up and people say, oh, is karma real? Karma is very real. I've seen a lot of people grow up. That's why I act well all the time. I'm not trying to slight someone or be crafty or do a con, because it doesn't work in the long run and time catches up to you. So we need to, like I said, we need to educate ourselves and we need to unify and help others build. And then from there, we have a foundation to start and we have got the past to learn from. And then hopefully we can have a better future for everyone, you know?
Good stuff. I want to ask each one of you this question. With the time that you still have left as a black man, what's one thing you must get done? I'm not saying like to do. What's one thing you must get done as a black man with your time going forward?
This is VU. I'll go ahead and say this. One thing I must get done is to display and bring to fruition every gift that God has placed inside me. All of the talents, all of the propensities, all of the things that I've learned. I want to create something, and it basically it's a variety of somethings, but I want to utilize every gift that I have to its fullest extent. You know, for instance, like someone may be an artist, but they're also a musician. Someone may be a musician, but they're also an author. I want to totally put it all out there, as the football players say. I want to leave it all out on the field. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I don't want to leave no gift unexploited, because I just think that our gifts are what God gives to us, and how we use them is our gift back to Him.
All right. Just want to interrupt before the next person chimes in. Aldefina says, say it. If we don't know where we're coming from, how will we understand where we are going? And she also says, this candor is refreshing, family.
Oh, this is Uptown Thursday night. This is the usual stuff that we do.
Uptown Thursday.
And you ought to hear us in the green room, but that's restricted for those who are they must be this high to enter the green room. So a lot of folk that are in the comments section, y'all can't come into the green room. We have to have some place to sharpen our axes in private. But
Aldefina has a smiley emoji.
I like that. I like that. And one of the other things I think that we have to do is we have to show our sisters and our wives and our sweethearts what a real black man is. Because like Clive said, people spend a lot of time on social media and they get all this information, but they don't get the right information because they can't sort the information. See, one of the things I like to say, and I scare people, and VU can testify, and so can Henri, and so can Vibe, is that when Black History Month rolls around every year, I scare people by saying I am Black History.
Right.
Because I'm still above ground, and I know my history, and it's tragic. Like Clive said, people don't. Not only do they not understand their history, they don't understand the spiritual world that they live in. They have no connection with God. They don't spend any time in their Bibles, and they don't hang out with the right people. How are you going to be wise if you hang out with fools? Like they say, you can't fly with the eagles if you hanging out with turkey mentalities all the time. And one of the things that I've got to get done, I got 2 books that are that are in the process of just about being finished. The next stage is they're going to Kindle Direct Publishing. As soon as I master the technology of that, they're on deck. Those are things that have to get done. VU and the rest of y'all have been encouraging me to get this done. And one of the things that I would encourage all of you to do, like Clive has done and Vibe, Henri, you need to put your stuff in a book, man. I'm not kidding. Write it down. Juice Man, write it down so you got something that you can leave these young pups, because 10, 20 years from now, you won't be here, but your words will be here. And it's time, and Clive's taking point on that. Put it in writing, put it in somebody's hand, because the lie is that black folk, especially black men, don't read. Oh, yes, they do. You put something in their hand, especially to a young brother. I have a list that I print off from time to time and leave copies of it where I can get to them. So if I run into a young brother, it has 20 books by black authors on basic economics. Just 20 books that I've reviewed or I've read or in my library. Here's a list that you need to read and understand. I would love to have Juice Man's book on that list. I would love to have Henri's book on that list. So I can say, in addition to getting you a $49 suit, you can get some of that $2 million wisdom from Henri. And I still tell people to knuckle up and buckle up. That needs to be on a coffee cup.
Yes, it does.
That needs to be trademarked. That needs to, once you hear that phrase, the doors of the church are open. Just pass the plate.
And Mike,
Yeah.
hey Mike, would it be all right if I wore one of those $49 suits from Henri and was reading his book at the same time? Would that
Yeah.
be allowed?
That would count as we used to say back in the day. That would be count as a twofer.
Cool. Excellent.
Henri would be a twofer. He is black. Actually, it'd be a threefer. He's black. He's a man, and he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That makes him a triple threat. see. So that's the thing I've got to get done. I've been working on these two books. They're just about completed. I got the word count together, and the next stage is the master, like Dr. Vibe teaches. You got to master the technology, and then get it out there. So hopefully, by this summer, I'll have those two books already in KDP and working on the third one, and I'm pricing them so that anybody can get them. I'm pricing them because hey, we're in a recession, get ready to go into a depression. You know, when white folks sneeze, black folks get pneumonia. But you don't have to tell a brother how to deal with pollen, because we know we go out in the yard and get the greens. We go down and get $10 for a tin of some chitlins. We know how to make that tuna fish last. We'll be eating while Generation Z and Generation X and all them other ones be out there trying to find out how to shop. Grubhub don't work if you don't have no money.
True that.
Your Grubhub don't work. What the DoorDash don't work on IOUs.
Uber Eats.
Yeah,
you ain't got no money.
Yeah. But see, if you got history, like Clive said, we've lived with 50 and over. We've lived through the 70s. We know what broke is all about. So that's one thing. One other thing that we've got to do, at least I would like to see done, is that I can write, Clive can write, Vibe can write, Henri, Juice. Y'all got to put it down and share it out, especially in broadcasting. You know how many blacks there are doing voice work in North America? You know how many? Let me put it this way. You know how many black sports agents that there are? In my area of the country, there's at least 3. I didn't even know that there were 3. That's why we need to put this stuff down as individuals and get it out there in the marketplace, because people will find it.
All right. Who else wants that on?
How much more time we got?
A few minutes, just a few more.
I guess one of the things I have to do, I must do, is live my best life.
What does that look like?
I think, because I am an artist, it is however it comes. I take every day as it comes, but I also too want to be. I have to be a change agent. I cannot leave here not knowing that I made a change. A change in somebody's perspective, how they see themselves, how they see the world, how they see our culture, how they see us as bad people. Another thing that I know is also to heal some of the fractures that's within our families, right? Certain things that we don't no longer know the reason why, how it came about, but be the change agent to make it better. So therefore, any rifts or fractures that may be within the fabric of your families, you're able to mend them, and now the next generation of your family can now have a stronger foundation to stand on. They don't have to take sides. Well, you did this to my auntie back 40 years ago. Girl, you 10. So what do you know about what happened 40 years ago, right? It should never matter what happened 40 years ago. What should matter is that child grows up in a family that is whole. And too many of our families are disconnected or fractured because of things that happened before our existence even became to be. So if I can be a change agent, that's one of the things I feel I have to do, not only for my family, you know what I mean, but also hopefully that inspires the next brother to do that for his family. So again, I think being a change agent, I have to be a change agent. That's the thing that I believe in my heart that I'm here to do.
Well, and it's interesting you say that because I've learned to understand and believe that the greatest area of Black wealth is the Black family.
Amen.
Right. So if we
True.
we as a people want to grow, we got to heal our family wounds. Well, I
Yes.
think a lot of us got to heal our internal wounds and then heal the family wounds, because I'm sure we all know families where the two brothers don't speak with each other or this or that. Like, funny enough, just before we came on live, a friend of mine, her husband went to Jamaica for a funeral with his brother. They were staying at the same place.
Right.
It's before he's supposed to come back. They get in an argument. He's staying at a hotel tonight, away from his brother, the day before he's supposed to come back.
Wow.
Like, I just went,
Wow.
what?
Well, speaking of families, let me piggyback on this one. Number one, I can't live my life as a single man for much longer anymore. I gotta get married.
Don't say that too loud.
No, I'm saying.
Don't say that too loud, because it may be Sadie Hawkins Day up there in Canada.
No, I mean, I got my lady. I got my lady. She's been with me for a minute, and we have the same, what I would call, love for each other. And because we've both been in relationships where, I won't say being taken for granted, but more not made a priority, we understand how important it is to enjoy each other's company, to enjoy each other's life. And that's number one. Number two is, Henri did something a while back. I want to know what it's like to live my life without somebody else in my pocket, taking money out of it monthly for something that I wish I could just pay. I wish I could just pay, my support, boom, 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 and not have to go through the system to do it. Not have that over my head.
No, you can't do that, because if you go outside of the system, it won't be counted. Because like, I'm on the hook. I'm on the hook too, and it's coming out of my Social Security check.
I understand that, but I want to get to a point where that part of that bill or whatever it is done. I don't have to deal with it. Don't have to pay for it. That's number two. And the third most important thing that I need to do is I need to go somewhere in the world with my family and have a good time with my family. I went places by myself. I recently went to Cuba with my girlfriend, but I want to go someplace with my family and just have a really good time. We've never done that. Those are the three things I wish that I could do, or not wish, are going to happen. I'm going to put that in the universe, because one of the last times that the Allies were together, I said I'm going to be in Jamaica for my 50th birthday underneath a coconut tree, and it happened. I'm going to put this out there that sometime in the near future, all of us allies will be together on some island, some country, all doing the show face to face for the first time. I'm putting it out there because it's going to happen.
Absolutely. And we're going to call it Vibe Land.
I mean, wherever it needs to happen, wherever it needs to be, I have my passport, I have my credit card, book the trip, let's go. I'm ready today. Let's
Only
go.
problem is the rides, man. The rides are in Vibe Land are dangerous.
I don't listen. Hey, again, we only live once, right? So hey,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I got
Unless
my
you're
credit
James
card.
Bond and you only live twice.
You know what I mean? I got my credit card and I got my passport. Let's go.
But there are your papers, sir.
Let's go. I'm saying it right now. Let's go.
There are your papers.
I got
Otherwise, we will squeeze the juice out of you.
I have my papers right here. Let's go.
This signs and papers, juice man. Say the Browns are good.
I have my papers. Let's go.
I made the screen freeze on that one.
let me put my James Earl Jones voice on it.
Okay.
Listen to me. I have my documentation. Listen, Simba. Let's go. Look, Simba. Look out in the wilderness. All of this is ours. We have dominion over it.
Pretty soon you're gonna be saying this is CNN.
Oh wow, that was
fascinating.
I think that is a wonderful way to end off today's conversation. that was beautiful.
And there was no rehearsal involved in this.
No, there wasn't. That is what you call a voiceover actor on cue. On cue. Well, brothers, as always, a great conversation as always of the Black Men in Time, and we're looking forward to getting together next month. I know people are going to start asking us, when you guys going to do it? When you're getting all together? I know people are going to start asking us. Push us.
Wow.
Push us. So before we close off, how can people get in touch with each one of you? So let's start off with the future. What time is it in the future right now, Mr. Henry?
The time is 3:15 a.m. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen.
Friday.
This is the new
Friday.
person speaking.
March.
The end of the month.
Yes, on Friday, March 31st.
Yes.
How can people get a hold of you, Clive?
Okay.
Clive,
So, yes.
Clive, before you go to sleep, remember to elbow that rooster so it can wake the rest of us up.
No problem.
Hey, Clive, is it true that when you're out driving your cab, you wear that hat like Denzel wears?
Clive, just get your contact information. It's gonna get worse if you don't do it.
Okay. My contact details. You can either Google Clive Henry, Amazon, or Instagram. Racism is real, or Twitter at Clive Henry 1, or just Google Clive Henry. I will come up. I'm everywhere on social media. So yes, and I always answer questions, even the silly ones. So just get a hold of me. Now, every day I wake up to messages. Every day I wake up to messages. Some are legitimate and some are, outlandish. But people just want someone to talk to sometimes, and you got to oblige. But yeah, it's good to see you guys, and hopefully you have a great week, a productive April, and we're moving on to it's summer now, so we got to make the most of what time we got.
Absolutely.
Juice Man.
It's very easy to get in contact with me on all platforms at Jonathan JONATHAN O'Shaw. Info at JonathanOshaw.com, website JonathanOshaw.com, Twitter, Instagram, all those different things. It's easy to find me. Hey, just go on Google, put Jonathan O'Shaw in there, and you're good to go.
Thank you, Juice Man. Henri Morris.
Gentlemen, brothers, it's always good seeing y'all, man. So I can't wait till we get all together in that one space, as you said. So everybody, you can catch me on Twitter at For the Love of You. That's FORTHELUOFU. Okay, and you can catch me personally directly at my email address at morrisunre@gmail.com. I answer all questions. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad we got the band back together. We delve in some things that most brothers don't delve into because we secure who we are as black men. So until next time, brothers, I will see y'all on the next side.
Excellent. Iron Mike.
I'm still at manhoodline@yahoo.com. And of course, I will always be in touch with the allies in one way or the other. I was just going to say that, Clive, I just hope that your next address when we talk is 10 Downing Street, because that brother needs some help. Help that man, please.
I don't think there's room for two brown men in the in that house.
Well, actually, with the brown mayor and the brown PM, if you join the crowd, you will be an official gang. But you can get in touch with me at that email address, and of course, great being with the allies, and of course, a hush fell over the room as VU came in at the end in Wakanda.
VU,
right.
close it out, brother.
That's right. We not only have old-fashioned artillery, we have African artillery.
That's right.
That is correct. I can be reached at the headquarters of Victory Unlimited, which is victoryunlimitedshow.com. I would say brace yourself, then enter that website. There's an arsenal of information. Start from show number 1, where the plane attacks the castle and I parachute out. And then 66 episodes later, you'll see how it all ends. So you can reach me at victoryunlimitedshow.com. I turn it over to you, Doc.
All right. We're going to close it up here as always. And first and foremost, thanks again, brothers, for making it happen. If people want to check out what I do once in a while, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. If you do on YouTube, also hit the notification button. You'll get notified when we do these conversations. Like it on Facebook or wherever you're watching it. Just like it. Also, if you want to catch me otherwise, email is dr.vibe at thedrvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter at drvibeshow.com. Instagram at the drvibeshow.com, and website the drvibeshow.com. You can catch replays of my shows on my website, on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever. I'm Googleicious, as they said. And if you want to promote your business or service on the Dr. Vibe Show, email me at dr@thedrvibeshow.com. So we end it off like this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace and follow the allies. We're worth following. Peace.
Listen.